Worry has become the background noise of modern life. It follows people into their morning routines, into their conversations, into their work, into their rest, even into the quiet corners of night. It is a constant whisper. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if things don't turn out the way I expect? What if... Primera, fácil. This whisper grows into anxiety. Anxiety grows into paralysis, and paralysis grows into a life lived in fear instead of clarity. Stoicism offers another path. It teaches that the world outside is chaotic, unpredictable, uncontrollably, and often indifferent, but the world inside can be calm, ordered, disciplined, and free. And when the inner world is disciplined, everything begins to align in a surprising way. The external world may not change, but your relationship with it does. And from that inner shift, life finally starts to make sense. Today, we explore 5 Stoic truths that reshape how one thinks, acts, and lives. 5 truths that, when understood deeply, cause unnecessary worry to crumble and cause things to finally start working out. Not because life becomes perfect, but because your mind becomes unshakable. Stoic Truth 1. You only control 3 things, and worry is about none of them. The first Stoic truth is the foundation of the entire philosophy. You control your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Nothing else. Everything else is borrowed. Everything else is outside your command. Everything else is a moving piece in the universe that you can influence, but never fully own. Yet most worry is directed at the things one cannot control. What people might say, what outcomes might happen, how the future might unfold, how others might behave, whether opportunities will appear, whether events will go your way. The Stoics understood that people suffer not because life is harsh, but because they demand control where the universe did not grant it. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Each rock is a worry about something you cannot control. You carry it everywhere. The weight slows you, strains you, drains you, but the rocks were never yours to carry. The universe does not ask you to predict the future. It does not ask you to control other people. It does not ask you to manipulate outcomes. It does not ask you to shape every moment. It asks only one thing. Do what is within your power, and release what is not. When this truth is lived, something changes within. The mind stops chasing illusions and starts focusing on what produces real results. You cannot control the weather, so why worry? You cannot control people's opinions, so why worry? You cannot control the past, so why worry? You cannot control the future, so why worry? You can control your choices. You can control your discipline. You can control your effort. You can control your character. You can control how you respond to what happens. This shift is the beginning of inner liberation. The moment you stop trying to manage the universe and start managing yourself is the moment everything begins falling into place, not perfectly, but clearly, because clarity can only exist when the mind is uncluttered by impossible expectations, and worry disappears when you abandon the illusion of control. 2. Stoic Truth 2. You have survived every difficulty you once feared. People worry because they underestimate their own strength. They imagine themselves weak, fragile, incapable of surviving challenges. They forget the battles that shaped them, the storms they endured, the moments that almost broke them, but ultimately built them. Stoicism reminds you, you are stronger than any fear that keeps you awake at night. Think back to the darkest moment in your life. Think back to the heartbreak that felt unbearable. Think back to the disappointment that crushed your confidence. Think back to the failure that made you doubt your worth. Think back to the uncertainty that kept you. You survived those moments. You didn't break. You adapted. You grew. You learned. You endured. Every difficulty that once felt impossible is now part of your story. Every challenge you feared was beyond your ability became proof of your resilience. Worry convinces you that you are fragile. Stoicism shows you that you are forged by fire. You are not soft clay. You are hammered iron. You have endured storms that would have destroyed you had you truly been weak. So why fear the next difficulty? Why worry that tomorrow's challenge will be the one you cannot face? You have already proven yourself in the arena of adversity. What troubled you in the past sharpened you for the future. The Stoics believe that challenges do not weaken a person, they reveal who the person truly is. And once you understand that every challenge you meet strengthens some hidden part of you, you stop fearing hardship. You stop worrying about what might come. You stop shrinking in the presence of obstacles. You begin to walk forward with steady confidence. Not arrogance confidence. Not denial. And everything in life begins to feel lighter. Because once you stop seeing difficulties as threats and start seeing them as training, nothing intimidates you anymore. 4. Stoic truth 4. Worry accomplishes nothing and ruins everything. Worry is often mistaken for preparation. People believe that by worrying, they are somehow preventing bad outcomes. They believe worry is a form of responsibility. They believe worry is a sign of caring. They believe worry is useful. But worry is none of those things. Wisdom prepares you. Experience prepares you. Worry only drains the mind, weakens the body, and steals the present moment. You cannot think clearly while worrying. You cannot act effectively while worrying. You cannot enjoy life while worrying. You cannot sleep peacefully while worrying. You cannot grow while worrying. You cannot see solutions while worrying. And yet worry claims the majority of one's mental energy. The Stoics believe that worry is a misuse of imagination, a distortion of attention, a misunderstanding of what truly matters. Imagine watering a plant with oil instead of water. You are putting in effort, but that something is destroying the plant instead of helping it grow. This is what worry does to the mind. It pours poison into the soil. It confuses the roots. It darkens the inner world. But when you stop worrying, you reclaim your mental resources. You stop wasting energy on things you cannot influence. You stop exhausting yourself with scenarios that may never occur. You stop living in imaginary suffering. And suddenly, your actions become sharper. Your decisions become wiser. Your relationships become calmer. When you remove worry, you remove friction. And when friction disappears, progress begins. This is why everything starts working out, not because obstacles vanish, but because your mind stops sabotaging your ability to overcome them. V. Stoic Truth 5. When the mind is calm, the next step becomes clear. A thick, paralyzing fog that blinds your ability to act. You become obsessed with outcomes instead of the next action. You fixate on long-term fears instead of short-term solutions. You stare at the entire mountain instead of the next foothold. You demand a guarantee before taking the smallest step. You don't need to see the entire path. You only need to see the next step. Life is a sequence of steps. One step taken in clarity reveals the next. A path walked in calmness reveals direction. The future unfolds as you move, not as you fear. Worry immobilizes. Calmness mobilizes. When the mind is steady, even the most complicated problem becomes manageable. You don't need to solve your entire life today. You only need to solve the moment in front of you. You don't need to know what will happen next year. You only need to know what you must do today. You don't need certainty. You need presence. This is how everything finally works out, not by predicting the future, but by handling the present with level. The next step is always visible. The next decision is always accessible. The next move is always possible. You just have to quiet the noise long enough to see it. The transformation that happens when you stop worrying, when these 5 truths become habits, when they stop being ideas and become your natural way of thinking, your entire life begins to shift. You stop overreacting. You stop rushing. You stop forcing. You stop fearing. You stop doubting your worth. You stop attacking yourself with imaginary problems. You become more composed, more precise, more focused, more present, more disciplined, more resilient, more courageous, more alive. Life becomes simpler, not because it becomes easier, but because you stop complicating it with unnecessary fear. You handle challenges with maturity. You make decisions with clarity. You face uncertainty with steadiness. You withstand difficulties with strength. You become someone unshaken by noise and pressure. Someone who moves with purpose. Someone who adapts gracefully. Someone who grows consistently. Someone who cannot be thrown off course by trivialities. This is the Stoic mindset, a mind that does not fear the unknown, a mind that does not cling to illusions, a mind that does not collapse under pressure, a mind that is disciplined enough to remain calm while others panic. You begin to rise not because the world treats you differently, but because you treat the world differently.